brand from the medical card. Oh, sure, right.
Sorry, we're live. Yeah. Okay, but hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Typical Skeptic podcast. I have literally one of my favorite guests from the show, and someone who I consider like not just a good friend, but like a dear friend. Like we're like brothers almost. We talk on the phone all the time, and like we're friends behind the scenes, and we have a big connection to MMA too. Besides, and we're both from the East Coast and stuff. We have a lot of stuff in common. We both have Italian heritage, and who I'm speaking of is Ra Castaldo. He's an ancient mysteries researcher, hereditary Strega lineage magic practitioner, intuitive seer, and host of Exploring the Call with Ra on YouTube, and the owner of the Mystical Spiral store, where he gives the best crystals. And you can use the code Typical Skeptic 12 because we're now an affiliate with him, and I'm proud of that. And he's known for his deep work into ancestral memory, genetic clairvoyance, geomantic portals, dream walking, and decoding ancient civilizations. Rob blends Etruscan, Strega, and shamanic traditions with modern psychic insight, revealing occult patterns behind global events, solar plasma activity, and spiritual warfare. And tonight we go way deeper into the mysteries of the ancient world. We're going to talk about some Italian Lupercalia, a sacred window into the ancient ancestral sites, wolf magic, fertility energies, and all that stuff. What did I miss? Oh, his website is the mysticalspiralstore.com. And again, you can use the code Typical Skeptic 12 when you go to checkout. And you can check out his YouTube at Exploring the Call with Ra. And with all that said, I'd like to give him a big warm welcome back to the show. Ra, thanks so much for coming back on, man. Good to see you. How are you?
Thanks, Rob. Thanks for inviting me back to your show. Great intro. I appreciate it. I'm happy to have you as an affiliate now too. It's going to be great. It's really going to be great.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Like, so what's new, man? What's going on before we get into all the esoteric stuff? Like, how's everything going with you?
Bro, it's been so freaking cold. I've been shoveling my ass off for days. Let me shut this window. Yeah, I've been shoveling my ass off, dude. And it's been so cold out. There's a wall of snow everywhere around here. It's crazy.
But you're doing a lot of shows lately. Like you were on Kurt Metzger's show. He's like a comedian.
Yeah. So the last couple of weeks have been pretty busy. I was on Laura Eisenhower's show, Dr. Michael Sala. I was on his show. I was on My Family Thinks I'm Crazy podcast, and then I was on Derp with the Kerp with Gary Wayne with Kurt Metzger. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. I'm glad to see you.
Yeah, I didn't even know who he was at first, dude. I thought he was like a baseball player from the 90s when he said Kurt Metzger. I didn't know the name because I don't really watch TV or Joe Rogan for years. I haven't watched Rogan for many years, over a decade, right? Yeah. So I don't know the guests or what, and so I didn't know who he was at first when they told me his name. I thought he was a baseball player, right? He's pretty cool though. He had me and Gary Wayne on together, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah, and you guys, I watched that show. You guys did really good. Gary, you and Gary were exceptional. Like you guys to the next level. And
I think that night was mainly for Gary. So Kurt's gonna have me on solo soon too.
But I think we need stuff like that. Like we need people like Kurt Metzger because usually I'm not big on like people like getting like more mainstream people getting into like our community. But you know what? We need that if we're going to be taken seriously. And I'm happy about him having you on there because that brings like your information forward to the public. So that helps you. And then it helps the whole community in a way because it's bringing forward the whole message of like ancient mysteries, disclosure, et cetera, et cetera.
It's a shame that so much got lumped into one community because you got the community is part people in there for business and for entertainment, and there's some people in there that has unique work and is like real stuff. So it's like it's a weird, everybody's lumped in together, but yeah, it's a crazy time that we live in. But I have a unique skill set because I come from like I have street smarts and street background, but I also have a scholarly background, and I was born with certain gifts and it's like a blessing and a curse to certain things that I was born with. So I over the years I sort of brought a unique, I have a unique skill set that most people don't develop throughout their lifetimes between certain experiences I've been through and certain certain subjects that I've been guided to explore, like from my experiences, like plasma physics and mythology. From my background, I got introduced into biblical archaeology at a very young age, and that sort of spread out into mythology, and then eventually, like exploring more about space and astrophysics and eventually plasma physics. So from my own experiences, I started to research plasma because I realized that we are connected to a universe of light, and eventually it led me into the plasma physics and not just the mathematics side, because basically I have a senior undergraduate level in the plasma physics from my studying mathematics and everything like that. But I'm more I dropped more of that, and now I'm more connected to the mathematical, the spiritual side of plasma physics, how it affects the spiritual domain of all life in the universe, because it is the lifeblood of the universe.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Was that? So, where do you want to start tonight? This sounds like interesting. Like we're gonna be getting into the Gate of the Sun again, the Ankh plasma, and the CME and Lupercalia. Let's start off with Lupercalia. That sounds interesting. That's an Italian tradition, right? It's like a spiritual. Does that have to deal with Strega and stuff like that, or like?
Yeah, I should clear up too the Strega thing, because it's like a generalized term now. The word Strega.
Yeah.
So most people think of Strega as I brought some cool pictures and stuff tonight too for the talk. I got some different stuff for us to pull up too. I brought a lot of my notes and a lot of my work here from my book. I brought tonight.
That's awesome.
Too. Yeah, so we could get into some stuff that I have here. Different pictures and stuff to go through tonight for the talk. But for people that have heard the word Strega before, all cultures have mysticism, right? And
Yeah.
the Mediterranean is, especially like Sicily and southern Italy and the islands in the Mediterranean, they were a cross point for so many civilizations that it was like a highway for not just trade, for sharing knowledge and wisdom as well. So Sicily was a major trading point, and so many cultures went to war over that area, and so much information got mixed into that area that it became a cool blend, like an interesting blend of knowledge, and all these cultures got mixed into different hereditary lines and shamanic lines that were passing down oral traditions. And there's different factions. Like you have some people that are using the knowledge to harvest and poach from the collective consciousness, and some people are using the knowledge to help cleanse the collective consciousness and for the good of the people. So you have these bloodlines that are collecting all this knowledge over centuries, and some of them are I guess for Christians tend to look at it as it's all bad, right? But a lot of these people are Christians. It's looked at it a different way in the Mediterranean and in Europe, especially in Italy. So basically, a strega is a mystic or a shaman or a seer or a healer. But of course, you have some that are black magic workers, and some that are what we would call like a malandante, like the bad ones. So a lot of them are Christians. A lot of them are Roman Catholics. A lot of them are different religions, but they have that mysticism in their blood, because what makes us, there's people that call themselves like a strega who pick it up, and that's not like a real strega. The real stregas that I'm talking about are people that are born a certain way from certain bloodlines and have certain abilities and have certain special births, right?
Yeah.
And so it's different than someone that's just researching it and wants to take up Wicca or Italian witchcraft or something like that.
It's actually your bloodline, and
Yeah.
and what I want to say is something just really interesting that you mentioned was like that those cultures like mixed together, like and when you look into history, you realize that like the Italians, the Greeks, like some of the Mediterranean Arabic people, some of the African people, like and even going up into Spain and like what they used to call Gaul. All those cultures like mixed together, right?
Gaul, the Normans, the Gauls, the Normans, the Moors, all of them invaded Sicily, all different tribes, right? And yeah, I mean, and they fought over it for. In fact, even my mother's maiden name was Di Moro, which means of the Moors, right?
Yeah.
So like, and we come from an Italian background, but obviously at one time my family was either owned by the Moors or control or a part of the Moors, or we were either or darker of skin, because sometimes you could be called Di Moro or Moro because you're dark skinned, because you could be of the dark or of the Moors. It's interesting because my my great grandparents, my mother's grandparents, both their last names are light and dark. Like my great grandmother's maiden name, her first name was Santa, like saint. Her last name was Bianco, Santa Bianco, which means Saint White, literally, right? And then my great grandfather's name was, his last name was Di Moro, which is of the dark. So my grandmother was Saint White, and she married Vincenzo of the Dark.
Dude, you know, I think you told me that before. I thought that's amazing, but like, I think I told you this. I have a cousin. Her name is Amy Bianco. Like, you know,
Wow,
so I have cousins named Biancos. Like, so that's crazy. You know, I sometimes feel like a lot of times like Pittsburgh and New York, because they mixed a lot because you know, or some, you know, you get that all over the East Coast. You know, like the cultures are similar. Name you got like. Yeah, I don't know. Like, and what I find about like what I love, like that you talk about a lot, is like, you know, my heritage, like basically is like a blend of like that area, like the Mediterranean, because my dad was like Lebanese and then my mom was like Greek and Italian. So like I love the history from that area. It really interests me, you know, like,
yeah. I mean, I don't agree with all the rituals from the past and because a lot of it, see, mythology and oral tradition was developed to pass down, adepts developed it to pass down secrets of nature and the universe through metaphors and allegories and stories, so people can remember. But the adept is only going to remember the real knowledge that's veiled within the stories, because they're given earthly names and earthly attributes, and these stories are hiding and veiling in the metaphors and allegories some of the secrets of nature.
yeah. Oh, he cut out. Let me see here. Hold on. We'll wait. Let me remove him from the stage, guys, and we'll bring him back in. I think he just cut out. Like, maybe he lost internet connection or something. Hold on. Let me try to bring him back in and see if he's still frozen. Ra, if you can hear me, you're frozen. You might want to go out and come back in. Hey, Rodico, good to see you. We're gonna get this show going here. I mean, we were going great, but like, you know, well, it's a full moon, everyone, so this is to be expected. You know, did everybody go out and see the full moon tonight? You know, it's definitely 100% full. It was supposed to be here tomorrow, you know, but it's here now. So if people are acting weird around you, or like weird things are happening, you know, and I don't want to cast that on anybody, you know, like but, you know, I expect things to get a little bit weird over the next few days. But then I was just saying to someone before the show, I was like, I hope this time the full moon is good for all of us, you know. Maybe we can manifest good things. But, like, I'm just so used to seeing crazy stuff happen. But here we go. Here's Ra. He's back. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened.
I lost internet for a second, I think, but I think so.
Yeah.
So,
but we were getting into, like, the Italian traditions and how it ties into, like, the secrets of the universe.
I wanted to clear up Strega, because I don't want people to think like I'm out there like casting spells underneath the full moon. It really has nothing to do with that. I'm not that type of Strega. There are Stregas like that, right? And I am connected to Our Lady and Lord of the Trinacrian Rose and Lori Bruno, which was Leo Martello, Dr. Leo Martello's line. But I'm not one of the ones that are practicing like the old school rituals or something like that, because in my opinion, my ancestors were misinterpreting the oral traditions, and I feel like I am one of the old ones that is returning to bring back what these writings truly mean, and that my ancestors and myself in past lives have been misusing what these ancient stories and rituals really truly were supposed to be meant for. right?
Well,
And they would
wait, bro. I was going to ask you. Do you remember you told me that there was like the Benedante and the Molendante, and the Benedante were kind of like the benevolent, and your
yeah,
family was from that line? Is that
yep, yep, that's true. That's true. So some of our line goes all the way back to Giordano Bruno and beyond. And Giordano Bruno was one of our ancient ancestors that was literally burned at the stake for saying that the Earth was not the center of the universe, that the sun was not the only sun with planetary systems and life around it, that there was infinite amount of suns and infinite amount of planetary systems with life on it around these suns and things like that. So yeah, he was kept in a dungeon for his hermetic wisdom and a lot of the knowledge that he had for almost a decade before he was burned at the stake, stripped naked in front of on the Campo di Fiori, and burned alive, you know. And he went out like a giant, bro. This guy was only 5'2". He was living in a dungeon eating rats for years. And every day they would bring him, every year they would bring him out in front of the crowd and be like, are you going to say that you were delusional and that the church is right? Or are you going to say that you're right? And he was like, I'm sticking to the truth. You know, I'm sticking to my guns. Right. And they would put him back in the dungeon. So finally they stripped him naked one day, tied him to the post, and asked him, and he was like, you guys are more scared of me than I am of you. He was like a giant that day. And
wow.
they burned him alive, and now they have a statue for him there. And 400 years after he was burned alive in the year 2000, my godmother, Lori Bruno, she was sent an apology letter from the Vatican.
Wow. Holy
And
shit,
now they
man.
have a statue for him there in the Campo di Fiori.
Well, yeah, that's
And
holy
a
shit.
crater
That's
named after him on the moon, for Christ's sakes, even.
yeah. Well, let's get into Lupercalia before we get into like the Ankh stuff and the Gate of the Sun. What exactly is Lupercalia?
Okay, so the Lupercalia is, I think people have a misconfusion about it too, because a lot of people think it's on February 15th, when it's actually originally for February 2nd to February 15th, which is basically a 2-week period of transformational rites, if you want to say. And in the past they would do like weird rituals, like people would run naked through the streets getting flagged with a wolf's pelt in their ass and shit and running
What
around,
the
you know. And then they would
hell?
all like frolic and have group sex, in somewhere or whatever. All these weird rites they would do. Yeah, yeah, they would let the wild beast come out. They had these different cults, like the cults of the Luperci, or the Luperci, if you want to say, or even the Cavallino, which means little horses, right? And these were priests of the wolf god and the wolf goddess. And after the winter solstice, going into February 2nd, these were the times where the new sun rises, right? Winter solstice is where the new transformational sun rises, and it's the time of transformation. So the Luperci, they were priests of shamanic shapeshifters. And it wasn't just in Italy. I mean, you have these kind of things all over the planet. You had some in like
Would it be similar to a skinwalker in Native American tradition?
a little bit different. Little Skinwalker is more like a curse,
Yeah.
right? This is more like a transformation, right? And it's more like to gain knowledge. It's more like a yearly ritual and a time of shedding the old and bringing in the new, and basically it's about bringing in the knowledge from the constellations and bringing in the knowledge and uh, reclaiming your passion and your desire and your transformation. It's time to shed all the guilt of the year and banish the wolf's night and have the golden wolf transformation in the new sun rising of the solstice as it goes into the Lupercalia. And this is where the Lupercalia is basically like a festival of transformation, and it's a festival of basically shape-shifting rites. And they have actually tribes all over the planet. One was called the Nuroi, where they would transform into shapeshift. And yeah, I mean, it's the time of the wolf, they would call it, right? It's In February, it's the month of basically purifying yourself. It's purification. You have the Roman god Thebris, right? He was also like the god of the dead. Etruscan, they called him Dis, and it's about renewing. It's about purification, and it's a time when your primal forces of who you are is awakened within you, and the people that do the rituals, they draw from the most ancient of powers that have accumulated during these rites throughout hundreds and hundreds of years. And it's an experience where the time of the golden wolf rises inside of you, and you transform the wild beast inside of you into knowledge and wisdom.
Wow, that's cool. That's interesting, man. That is so yeah. Holy shit, yeah.
And they would, there's certain rituals that they do with like walking over the fire, and there's, all different things like that, and it's yeah, I mean, some of the rituals they did running through the streets and all that, it's crazy stuff, but I don't think many of them do that nowadays. But you could look up all the stories of the Lupercalia and what they would do and stuff over the years. And then they have certain cults that would carry out those rituals for many, many years.
Wow, dude, that's really interesting. Yeah. So okay, I guess let's get in. Do you want to start getting into the Gate of the Sun, which we talked about last time a little bit, but we're also going to talk about the Ankh plasma, and this is basically like the physics of the universe, right?
Yeah, dude. So I don't know if people realize, but I'm one of the leading pioneers in plasma physics and mythology and connecting the two. I've been doing it over 10 years, almost 15 years altogether. And mythology has been over 30 years. And about 15 years, I've been connecting some of the astrophysics and plasma physics with the mythology. And I had a revelation about 10 years ago about the Ankh being the coronal mass ejection.
Yeah.
And I started releasing it and sharing it with the world. And finally, I'm about to release a book about it all because I'm tired of people using a lot of my information out there. But I don't mind. I want it to get out there. But a lot of people are talking about plasma and they really are just repeating things that they heard, and they don't really understand a lot of the stuff that they're saying out there. So it's time to clear up some of the things, because there's a difference between information being shared for entertainment on TV, like in Ancient Aliens and things like that, and then truth. It's a big difference.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm one of those people that have been. The reason why I'm revealing a lot of this is because I'm one of the people that helped create some of these ancient writings in the past. And like I said, I'm back to help reawaken the truth about these knowledge. Now, plasma is the lifeblood of the universe, and they have delivered. When you have a universe of light, there's delivery systems for every sun and star. And when you realize the science behind it, because I hate when people say that space is fake, because space isn't fake. We don't get all the truth from NASA, of course.
Yeah.
But science, what's wrong in science is that there's no spirituality connected. See, science and spirituality is fused together. There is no one without the other. They're intimately fused together. Right. So and people are not thinking of it appropriately. So when you see a coronal mass ejection, let me see, from the sun, let me show if anybody, I'll try to make it where everybody can understand. I'll try to make it simple. So when you see a coronal mass ejection from the sun, this is what it looks like.
Holy shit.
You see, that's what I'm calling this, the Ankh of Egypt. That's my I have decoded that is the actual Ankh of Egypt. It's Pasha of Hindu. Now, this is a delivery system, not just a storm coming from the sun. This is a delivery system for not just information, but how light gets into our planet and leaves our planet in some cases, including souls. Now, when our sun, you see here, there's magnetic field lines that are constantly moving and in motion. Now, they can become entangled by the convection of plasma, and the differential rotation of the sun. That's what forms these magnetic field lines to get entangled and twist together and form these loops. Now, these loops, they come out like a golden lasso from the sun, and some of them come directly towards planetary systems like Earth, and they sweep into Earth and they burst open and snap. Some of them end up forming auroras and make magnetic reconnection events. When this happens, this is called a magnetic reconnection event. It's a solar prominence or a coronal loop, coronal
Yeah.
mass ejection. And magnetic reconnections are when two opposing field lines become twisted together and form that loop and form a burst of light. And also, when auroras get created in our magnetosphere, magnetic reconnection happens there. They break apart and they snap back. Now, when these loops, they are carrying light into our planet and light bodies, souls, right? And souls come from the light, from the sun, and they must return to the light after death from the sun. We come from the plasma sea, we come from the light, and we must return to the light. So when these loops, they come into Earth, they invade, they crash into our magnetosphere. Some of them penetrate into Earth, the magnetosphere, and form auroras, but some of them snap back into the sun, right? That snap back into the sun is where souls can also guide themselves, their light bodies at the moment of death. They can travel into certain regions in the magnetosphere and ride the snapback wave, plasma wave back into the sun and return back into the lake of memory, right? So it's specific guidelines are given in to the adepts in almost every culture, whether it's the Orpheus mysteries, the Egyptian mysteries, almost every culture, Sanskrit, Middle Eastern, I mean, Sumerian, Assyrian, Persian. I mean, we could go through it all. They all talk about guiding the soul after death into the light waters, and this is a delivery system, not just for souls to enter into our planet, but also to leave our planet. And the Ankh is the oldest solar symbol on in the world, and nobody has decoded the Ankh before. Everybody has said it this or that. The closest I ever seen somebody say was a Tesla coil, how it forms the arc, which is a microcosm of this, right? The macrocosm is that. So when you have even like a switch failure at a power plant, you'll see an arc of electricity being formed, right? This is how magnetic field lines, and they're talking about it all throughout culture. Now, when magnetic reconnection happens, this is how the gate of the sun is opened up, right? And you have to have two magnetic field lines twisting together to open up the gate of the sun, right? And that's what's described right at Tiwanaku in Bolivia. You have Viracocha holding his fiery serpents, two opposing serpents that he's about to twist together, and you have the burst of light behind his head. That's a magnetic reconnection event. So I'll show you guys what I mean. We talked about it in the other show that we did. So right here, this is Tiwanaku. You see right here on top of the gate of the sun, you have him holding opposing fiery serpents. Sometimes they're condors and different things, and he has the burst of light behind his head.
Yeah.
The Egyptian symbol for He. That's
Yeah.
also my magnetic reconnection symbol, very similar symbol and that's opening up the gate of the sun, right? That is a magnetic reconnection symbol, right? Totally describing it. And the staff god is Viracocha. He is the magnetic connector, right? He's Viracocha or Tunupa, sometimes they call him the thunder god, and he's literally holding two fiery lightning bolts, right? He's the central deity inside of the magnetic reconnection event, and he's on the gate of the sun. He's the frontal figure, and his symmetrical he's rigidly symmetrical, holding two vertical staffs. And these staffs are described sometimes as thunderbolts or lightning, and they usually terminate in serpent or condor heads. And these represent the active sun or the central dipole magnetic field of the sun, and the two staffs represent the magnetic field lines, specifically opposing magnetic polarities, north and south, that are about to be pinched or twisted together by the deity. These by holding these opposing field lines or serpents and being positioned by Viracocha being that central agent of power, the deity is acting as the reconnection region, the X point, or the current plasma sheet. The twisting of these lines results in the release of kinetic energy, the burst of light, the opening of the gate of the sun, right? And it's complete plasma physics right at the Tiwanaku gate, and it's incredible. And the deity's head, that he's got a headdress of a burst of light. This is also shown in Egyptian with Horus, the Metternich stele. They call it the chippy of Horus, right? He's standing on a lion, I think, and he's holding two serpents. And you got the deity Bes, they call it, above his head, which is the burst of light, right? That's all a vivid representation of a coronal mass ejection or a solar burst, right? The radiating serpentine rays behind the head represent the twisted, erupting magnetic flux ropes and plasma clouds or burst of lights that's coming from the deity, right? The gate of the sun acts as literally the corona or the freaking threshold behind the sun's internal magnetic environment and interplanetary space. Now, the explosion, the CME, is the opening and the passing through the gate, the opening up the doorway of the sun. And they show the deity weeping, right? This is how plasma flows. These are the weeping rays, right? So sometimes the deity is sometimes even called the weeping god, right? He's got these stylized vertical lines streaming down from his eyes, often ending in stylized figures like and these are teardrop or tear-like streams of plasma. They're post reconnection plasma that flows, or it could even be looked as the solar wind coronal streamers moving outward along the magnetic field lines, right? And I mean, we could go so much deeper into it and how it's connected to Horus and all sorts of stuff too. But it's really incredible. You have heliophysics, magnetospheric physics, and plasma physics all throughout the ancient mythology of the past.
Wow. I was going to ask you, so what exactly is Ankh plasma? Was it like a biological code or like a plasma entity? It's like the I think you kind of said it's like the blood of the universe, right? It's like the life force of the universe, right?
Yeah,
It's like,
well, you could look at Ankhs as delivery systems for suns and stars.
okay.
Right?
Okay.
Their delivery system. That's how the light is exploded and messengers are sent from the sun. Right?
Wow.
It's not just a solar storm like science says. It's a delivery system for codes of light, for codes of evolution, sustenance, dissolution and rebirth and sustenance, right? You have all these codes of creation, evolution, sustenance, dissolution, and rebirth being sent out in the blasts of light, right?
Wow, dude, that's amazing, man. Yeah. And you're going to go deeper into the gate of the sun this time. What new stuff has come to you from the gate of the sun? And do you believe the sun can be like a stargate?
Well, it is a stargate. It is a stargate. It's opening. It's literally a stargate for souls to enter into the planet and leave the planet, for beings of light to emerge. And you can push yourselves into matter. Beings can push themselves into matter as they emerge from the light. So it's literally a plasma doorway from that spot to the sun, right? And my model of Egyptian magnetic reconnection with the Hess symbol or best symbol with the Tiwanaku gate of the sun in Bolivia is both it's a cross-cultural sophisticated description of solar plasma physics, specifically magnetic reconnection, coronal mass ejections, and it's connecting not just the gate of the sun in Tiwanaku in Bolivia, but all across all cultures. And it's how light and doorways of light and beings of light are brought from suns and stars to planetary systems, right?
So in a way, Tiwanaku is a solar, like a solar alignment device.
Yeah, when it was at the original spot, yeah, for sure. And it's, that the gate of the sun in Bolivia, Tiwanaku, that's a magnetic reconnection point. It's a point where it's a delivery system where and I mean, they're showing it in all the symbology. It's incredible. I mean, the staff god Viracocha, he has all the symbols of plasma phenomena, and it's, as we learn more in 2026, it's further proving it with precise accuracy. All my work that I've been coming out with the Ankh, even the Ankh being, I'll give you a little truth here that I haven't released anywhere from my book. Even the Ankh being the key of life is one of the most groundbreaking things, because now in 2025 and 2026, science is proving my theory as the Ankh being the key of life. We now have it proven in science. It's called the faint young sun paradox. That the Ankhs, early coronal mass ejections, is what sparked life on this planet. Between comets and early coronal mass ejections, it's what brought the energies and the sulfur to form more complex molecules on this planet. So a bombardment of coronal mass ejections along with comets is what first sparked, was the key to life emerging on this planet, right? It literally is the key to life on this planet. It's how souls also enter into this planet. And and it's the most powerful solar symbol. When you see the Ankh, the Ankh is carried by the sun god. When you see the sun gods, they represent the sun themselves. And the arms of the sun is carrying the Ankh, right? That's exactly how it happens. The rays of the sun, the arms of the sun are throwing these loops. And in Hindu, they're called the Pasha. Varuna wields it. He's the god of the solar waters, and he rules it. And Viracocha, he's the god of the Stargate. They're misreading it. When you have these plumed serpents, that represents plasma bursts of light and plasma filaments. They're rays of light. They're not feathers. That's a metaphor and allegory for colors of light, right? The Viracocha has opposing staffs or serpents, and he's the Ayamara weather god Thanupa, right? The thunder and lightning god, right? And he's the central deity holding these two lightning serpents, right? He holds two lightning fiery serpents that terminate in either serpent or bird heads in all his symbolisms. And in my model, these represent the opposing magnetic field lines or the flux ropes. And the deity's grip on these dual staffs mirrors the twisting or pinching that's required to trigger magnetic reconnection.
Yeah, I love that, man. This is so interesting, man. This is really interesting. Like, and this is going to be the basis of your book, basically.
Yeah, I mean, all across all cultures. I do it from Inanna, Ishtar, I mean, Muhammad's night journey. I go through it all. Genesis, the book of Genesis. I mean, magnetic reconnection also is the scarab, right? When you see a scarab creating himself from himself, that's what magnetic reconnection in the sun does. Magnetic field lines break apart and get reborn, right? And that's exactly what the scarab or the Kepra god is a magnetic reconnection god, right? And the Banu bird, all this is all symbols for magnetic reconnection, right? It's all different symbols for bringing bursts of light and creating bursts of light. And that's what the scarab is. The scarab literally means, Kepra literally means to become, or to be, or to become, right? It's to become yourself from yourself, right? And it's incredible, all right? When you have magnetic reconnection occurs when field lines, opposite directions collide, break, and they snap into a new configuration. They form an X line. That's even the different scarab's legs, that one goes up and one goes down, forming that X line. And the X point is the scarab itself. The Scarabaeus was seen as a self-created being that emerges from its own transformational process. And the X point is the site of spontaneous energy, the conversion, and the reshaping of the solar magnetic field. And this mirrors Kepra, the god of the rising sun, right? Whose name comes from the root Kepra, which means to transform or to become into being, right? Reconnection is the literal coming into being of new magnetic structures. And the solar ball, the dung ball that the scarab rolls, is the plasmoids, right? This is the key feature of magnetic fast reconnection, is the formation of plasmoids, magnetic islands or blobs of plasma that are literally ejected from the reconnection sites. And these dung balls that are rolled by the scarab in Egyptian myth, the scarab rolling its ball was a metaphor for the sun being moved across the sky, right? And just as the beetle pushes the ball to nourish its offspring for rebirth, the solar reconnection pushes. It's a solar process where the process pushes these plasmoids that's carrying mass and energy outward to nourish the heliosphere and to trigger aurora events on the Earth. It's an energy release, and it's being born from itself. Basically, the scarab is the sun, self-contained, magnetic reconnection. It makes itself, transforms itself from itself. It's the god of becoming. It's really incredible when you have all this stuff that they had thousands of years ago, and now we're only coming into some of this knowledge now with all these like machines that we have to build to understand what plasma is, when intuitively the adepts of the ancient past were intuitively tapping into these universal structures and laws and principles.
Oh yeah, man, this is so interesting. Like, yeah, like and like you said, you do it all across cultures. That's fascinating. Like,
Yeah,
and
like
sorry, go ahead. Yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah. They have. I mean, in ancient Greek, like I talked about one time on your show, this is really incredible with Apollo and his he's the sun god. I mean, that's it's revealing such ancient knowledge there. And we have some of the directions of the afterlife, right? We have some of the instructions of where our light body can go towards these magnetic reconnection events where we can snap back into the sun, right? And I've been decoding this. It's some of my life's work. It's given to us in a lot of the ancient writings, and in the Orpheus Mysteries, they have some of the writings. In the Pharaoh Unis and the Pyramid Texts, they have a lot of the writings. Um, and we have some of the most ancient knowledge in almost every culture. And basically, the instructions are telling the light body to go to the night side of the magnetosphere. This is the heaven. This is heaven and hell. This is the Hades. This is the Gehenna of Hebrew, the Duat of Egypt, right? So this is a very important region. Now you have the day side and the night side of the magnetosphere. The night side is where it stretches out millions of miles, maybe 90 times the size of the Earth or more, right? And on the sun side, it's maybe 9 or 10 times the size of the Earth. The magnetosphere stretches out. But on the night side, it stretches out so much, incredibly amounts, and it's the magnetotail stretches out and it forms these specific shapes that is the tree of life. It's the weeping willow tree with its magnetic field lines, swaying branches, and the serpent in the Garden of Eden is the information, the spiraling along the magnetic field lines along the tree. When you see the serpent on the branch of the tree of life or the tree of knowledge, that's literally the electrons spiraling along the magnetic field line branches of the tree of the of the magnetic field, right? So we are misreading a lot of these ancient writings, and a lot of it is describing plasma wave movement and the way magnetic field lines, like nagas, all the snake metaphors that we have, the celestial snakes, it all has to do with magnetic field lines and Birkeland currents and all of this stuff. It's really hard to describe it to people because you need like a little basis in plasma terminology, and mythology to truly grasp the groundbreaking shit that I'm talking about right now. I really do. And so it's like taken me 30 years to get to the point where I could describe it all. But I mean,
Yeah.
it's hard to break it down like as simple as more simpler. But just with Apollo, the dolphins, right? You got Apollo is the sun god. So don't
Yeah.
think of him as a man. He's literally the sun himself. They give you these earthly metaphors and allegories to help people understand it. It's a way of teaching, right? And so when you have Apollo, he represents the sun himself. And you have Apollo, different aspects of him are going to be different aspects of the sun, and different weapons of Apollo is going to be different weapons of the sun and different things. So Apollo has two things that he wields. He has dolphins that he has on these leashes. They're literally called the messengers of the sun, the messengers of Apollo, and he has them constrained on these leashes. And as they're diving through the waters, he's constrained on these leashes. And Apollo also wields the harp, the lyre, right? The harpsichord. Now, we're going to discuss this incredibly right now. This is describing specific Apollo's the sun. So he's a plasma star. He's a plasma sphere. And his magnetic field lines are the dolphins on leashes, right? So we're going to describe this. They're describing different forms of plasma wave movement, and not just with the dolphin, but also with the harp. Now, dolphins moving through waters. Dolphins are swimmers that are really efficient. They use their incredibly powerful tails as these flukes to generate different thrusts and maneuver with minimal drag. And they also have very different types of like bow riding or surfing the waves to save themselves energy, and they're literally propelled by the force of the wave itself, right? This is plasma wave movement. Plasma consists of charged particles, ions and electrons, and when these particles move, they generate electric and magnetic fields. Sorry, my contact is really bothering me. I have one contact in my eye. And they're affected by external fields, right? And the waves can propagate through the plasma, and plasma particles ride these waves similar to how a surfer rides a wave or a dolphin rides a bow wave, gaining energy by the wave being accelerated by the wave's electric field, right? This is the dolphin being constrained on the magnetic field lines is the leashes, right? And when you have a dolphin on a leash, he's constrained in its movement. It can swim and move around, but only within the limits and directions that's set by the leash and the person that's holding it. And the person that's holding this leash is the sun. And this describes perfectly plasma physics and how magnetic field lines and plasma waves moves, just like dolphins diving through the plasma waters, right? The magnetic field lines act like invisible leashes that force the plasma particles to follow specific paths. And the plasma moves relatively freely along these magnetic field lines along the leash, but their motion to the lines is restricted, right? This illustrates how magnetic fields literally dominate the behavior and flow of plasma in environments like the Earth's magnetosphere, the solar wind, or even in a lab in a nuclear fusion reactor, right? So the dolphins on leashes, that's one form of plasma wave movement that they're showing. Now, the other form of plasma wave movement they're showing is the analogy of the harpsichord of Apollo. He's literally playing the music of the sun, strumming the magnetic field line chords, the hairs of Apollo, the golden hairs of Apollo that he's strumming, right? This metaphor of a note, they even use it in plasma physics. A note on a guitar string is like a transverse wave or an Alphen wave, right? So the metaphor of a note of a harpsichord is incredible. It illustrates a transverse wave, right? The motion of a medium, the medium is perpendicular to the wave's direction of travel, right? It's a concept of standing waves, right? So some plasma waves, they're known as Alphen waves, and they propagate along magnetic field lines. They're a type of transverse wave where plasma particles and magnetic field lines, they oscillate back and forth, right? They're like a guitar string. When you pluck a guitar string, they oscillate back and forth. It's the same way a harpsichord moves up and down, or a guitar string up and down the string. You know, the length, it travels along the lengths as it oscillates, right? And this is one of the you know, the way that the metaphor that they're using, right? The way dolphins move through waters, and the sound waves they use for echolocation, and also, um, you know, the guitar string is like an alpha wave. I mean, these are incredible analogies, and the way they teach how the light of the universe is broadcasted. I mean, that same, I have it here somewhere. Let me see. That same Apollo with the harpsichord is also shown in Egyptian with the Bess right here. So this is Egyptian Bess. A lot of times he's in association with Horus, and this is the sun god Bess. You can see the explosion plumes of light coming up from his head, and he's strumming the harpsichord, right? And even you can see here, look at this. This is a plasma column and plasma resonance cone. That trumpet, all that symbolism you see, it's all plasma physics there. All
Wow.
plasma physics. Incredible.
It is, dude. It's like, yeah, this is like, it already took you a while to figure that out, to decode this. You know what I mean? Like, to finally get it right. Like, it's like,
Yeah. And they just called plasma different things back in the day. In Greek, they had a term. In Sanskrit, they called it um, apis. It means the celestial waters, right? And there was a Greek philosopher, pre-Socrates philosopher called Anaximander, and he it came from, in my opinion, it's derived right from apis. It's called apeiron. Apeiron is basically, Anaximander described it as a boundless, unlimited substance. It's a primordial, eternal, ageless principle of creation from which all things emerge and which everything must return. Right? It's a concept that's highly suitable for the plasma model, right? And it makes up most of the visible universe, right? Just like Apeiron. And Anaximander chose Apeiron precisely because it couldn't be defined. It wasn't like water or fire. He said it wasn't. It wasn't. It couldn't be defined like anything else. It could become anything without being limited by its own nature, right? And that's what plasma is. It's another state of matter. It's a superheated gas that gets so hot that things start knocking together and stripping away, and it doesn't fit into a conventional solid, liquid, or gas. It's a formless, high energy state that underlies the creation of more complex materials or matter, like atoms and molecules, especially when it condenses and cools. And this mirrors the role of Apeiron. And actually, there's so many different terms for it throughout time. You know, whatever culture you look at, you could find different terms for it.
wow. Oh, yeah. And if anybody has any questions for Rob, put them in the chat and we'll get to your questions. And yeah. I'm trying to think what we can go over next. I mean, did you want to go over?
There's so much more we can go into. I mean, dude, these are literally, we're having a bombardment of these solar storms right now. And people got to understand the weather of space directly affects the energy of life throughout the universe, especially planetary systems of stars like our sun. Right. So the weather that's coming from the sun is going to directly affect the climate of who we are, like the climate of this planet and the climate of our energy. Right. So things are we're getting bombarded right now with coronal mass ejections. We're at a solar maximum. July in 2025, 2026 is like the peak of this solar cycle. And you know, a lot's going to be revealed, dude. You're going to see things are going to emerge from the light, and there's going to be some Christ-like figure that emerges this way from the light. I might have mentioned it in the last show, but it's talked about in different books, right in the Bible, and some apocryphal books in the Bible, as somebody emerging from the solar wind, from the light, from the winds of heaven, carried on the clouds of heaven. And there's gates of the sun all over the planet where they were set up for events like this. You have not just in Tiwanaku in Bolivia, you had gates of the sun in Karnak, you had gates of the sun in Greece, you had gates of the sun all over the planet. And they were meant for reconnection events at this moment. When you see Akhenaten, I mean, this is describing a coronal mass ejection. You literally have those loops being sent down from the arms of the sun. I mean, look at that. They're literally throwing down loops from the arms of the sun. And you got the hooded cobra over here.
Wow.
That's when you see a hooded cobra and opposing cobras, that has to do with magnetic field lines and solar emissions and Birkeland currents. It's all deep knowledge about the sun, deep knowledge about solar storms, deep knowledge about the significance of how it affects the spiritual domain of life on the planet. And when you see the different goddesses, like feline goddesses and stuff like that, they come right from solar plasma physics. I have one, like all of this comes right from plasma physics. You can see here that I have. Let me show you. When you have these opposing serpents, you have literally inflated chested cobras, the hooded cobras, and opposing magnetic field lines that are forming rings or loops. I mean, and you have the wings of the solar wind, and literally opposing magnetic field lines that are forming rings of the sun, loops of the sun. I mean, and then inside of it, you even have the magnetic reconnection X point shown to opposing circles like that. It's really incredible. They'll show it the crooked staff with the magnetic field lines, serpent snakes heads. I mean, it's all over ancient Egypt, all over every culture, from Lithuania and Tiamat, Marduk. All those stories are the same story. Indra and Vitra. I mean, they're all showing like this is Tiamat. He's holding the ring. He's holding the coronal ring, the coronal loop. It's all he's a solar hero with the magneto-tailed dragon. And you can see the solar waters here. This is all has to do with plasma physics. All of these have to do with plasma physics and opening up the doorway of the sun for light to enter and leave this planet. And not just light bodies. And, the veil has been thin. This time of year, too, the veil is really thin. I just saw two sets of spirits the other night. It was insane, dude. Insane. One of them was dissipating, woke me up. It was dissipating as I woke up. It was like an elderly lady with loose curls. Her hair was curly, but very loose curls and brown. Yeah. And it was an older lady's face, and it was like dissipating. And I woke up. It woke me up, and I saw it right above me. And I couldn't get the voice out of my throat. I was like, "Get out!" I couldn't get it out, so I was like trying to scream.
Holy shit!
Crazy. Yeah,
dude, that's crazy. Like, yeah. So is that like what happens? Like, is the sun's responsible for the veil thing, basically, kind of in a way?
The sun and the moon and the magnetosphere. Our magnetosphere is a stargate in many ways. It's where tunnels of plasma, connect back to the sun and connect to other star systems, right? And they don't last forever. They last for certain periods of times, and they dissipate, but they leave trails, right? But these are doorways of light that exist, and it's a very special place. It's a whirling vortex of plasma, and the dynamic region that all adepts are instructed to go to at the moment of death is the magnetotail on the night side of the magnetosphere, and what they call in Greek the lake of Mnemosyne, or the lake of memory. You're supposed to avoid the lake of oblivion, the lake of Lethe, where your soul, literally your light body, gets scattered with the auroras and into oblivion, or your soul can find the lake, the magnetic reconnection point, the lake of memory, or the Kordaluski clouds. These places where they're like lakes of memory, where your soul can literally drink from its divine essence and snap back into the doorway of the sun.
Wow.
And we've lost this knowledge. We've lost the instructions of the afterlife. And I do believe that's why Jesus is coming back, to point us the doorway to heaven, the doorway to the light of the heavens.
Wow. And you think a real figure will emerge? Like a real...
I do think a real figure will emerge from the light to reconnect us back to, if you want to call it heaven, you can call it heaven, but it's back to the doorway of the sun, because we've lost the instructions of the afterlife.
Do you think that's like what it has to do with, like reincarnation here or something like that? Like or what do you think's up with that? Like,
yeah, I do think that we get sort of recycled because we've lost the instructions of how to leave this planet, how to leave this planetary system, and our light bodies are not leaving the magnetosphere. They're not even entering into the magnetosphere. They're roaming this landscape, just a little bit higher density than our physical bodies in this landscape.
yeah.
Understand? So they're like superimposed and just a little bit higher, just a little bit less dense than we are, right?
Yeah.
A magnetic duplicate of who you are, right? You're not evolving, ascending to a higher form. A magnetic duplicate of your body now is spending a certain amount of time lost on this landscape in a just higher superimposed position, right? And you have a certain period of time when you die for that magnetic duplicate, your light body, to merge back into its divine essence, into the light of the waters, the light of the universe, right? So you can get purified and move on. But you need to get purified back into the sun.
Yeah.
And then I believe there's different stations, soul stations, all throughout our solar system and throughout the universe and throughout the multiverse, right? We go on different stages, different soul stations. And this is just one little stop on our cosmic conveyor belt that all the molecules and DNA that in our body that makes up who we are is going to travel, right? The particles that make up who we are is going to explode, go back into the light, and travel a cosmic conveyor belt till it eventually becomes planets and other people and whatever.
Yeah. Holy shit, man. This is so interesting. Like, this really is. Like, it's, like, how do we find the lake of memory? Like, how do we connect with it? Like, when we pass, like, what do you think we have to do?
So at the moment of death, I do believe you have to go, your light body has to fly. You have to travel. Right? You have to travel towards the North Pole. Towards the North Pole is the biggest entry, the biggest funnel out of this planet. It's the dipole. It's the magnetic mountain that you see, the Mount Meru. Right? It's when you see a magnetic mountain, the Mount Olympus, Mount Meru, with the Mount Kailash is like a model of that, with its rivers flowing around it. These are all the plasma rivers and areas in the magnetosphere, right? That North Pole area is the magnetic mountain that you travel out of this planet into the magnetosphere. And then you go into the night side, into the magnetotail, where the cypress tree is. It looks like a teardrop or a cypress tree. It tapers off. That's the area where we're instructed to go to drink from the lake of memory.
Wow. That's huge information. Like, if that's, yeah.
And I could show you specifically where they talk about it in ancient writings, right? I could show you specifically where they talk about it. So if you go to, I could show you in different cultures either. You can go to the pyramid texts of ancient Egypt where Pharaoh Unis describes it.
Yeah.
Or you could go to the Orpheus. So there were certain, the Orpheus, the Orphic gold tablets. You have the golden plate of Petalea that was found in 1879. It's from 300 BC, and it gives certain instructions for the cults of the cults of Orpheus. Orpheus was like an Osiris figure, right?
Yeah.
and they were a transmigration of souls cult, right? They were all about transmigration of souls and guiding the soul at the moment of death back into the light lake of memory. So you have a few. I'll show you what some of them look like. So you have a few of them that were found, literally pure gold sheets, little golden sheets that had the instructions of the afterlife inside of a little golden like scroll thing that were put with the bodies in their in these burial mounds, right? And that was their most sacred possession, was these afterlife instructions in pure gold that they would bury with them in these burial mounds. And some of them were found in southern Italy. They were Greek colonies. And one of them that is famous is the golden plate of Pettalia. I'll show you. That's what the necklace looks like. And there's a little golden sheet inside of it. And the golden, the golden sheets are very small, and they look like, like this, and there's and inside of it, and you can. I mean, if I don't know if you want me to go over what one of them says.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Hell yeah.
Yeah, so they literally have. If I was on Zoom right now, I'd be able to share screen and pull it up and show you. So they had some that were found in Turi, and the golden plate of Pettalia. Let me get the golden plate of Pettalia and read you that first. Let me see. I mean, it's really incredible, dude. It's literally guiding the light body after death. All right. Now, they said, "Thou shalt find to the left of the house of Hades a spring, and by the side thereof standing a white glowing cypress. To this spring approach not near, but thou shalt find another from the lake of Mnemosyne, cold water flowing forth, and there are guardians before it. Say, I am a child of earth and starry heaven, but my race is of heaven alone. This you know yourself, but I am parched with thirst, and I perish. Give me quickly the cold water flowing forth from the lake of memory. And then them of myself, they will give thee to drink of the holy spring, and among the other heroes thou shalt have lordship. I am parched with thirst, and I perish, but give me thirst from the ever-flowing spring on the right, where the glowing cypress is. I am the son of earth and starry heaven." Right? So the cold water that they're talking about is literally the region in the magnetotail where cold plasma flows. Streams of cold plasma come in, and it's incredible. That glowing cypress, white glowing cypress they're talking about, is the shape of the magnetotail. When you see, do I have a picture of it here? And he's literally claiming, he's making a declaration. Well, they're talking about waters and they're plasma waters, not waters on Earth. They're talking about going into the magnetosphere, and in different. They have all these different sheets that were found in different tombs, and each one of them have a different clue, a further piece of the puzzle to decode it. It's really incredible. Yeah, it's really incredible.
That is. That's next level. It's that next level information, man. Like,
yeah, I have even another one breakdown. So let me see if I have it here. Yeah, even with Gilgamesh, I mean, there's so many to go through. I don't know if I have the other ones from Theory. Yeah, I have them all translated from my book too.
No. When do you think you're gonna probably put out your book? When you think it'll?
Within the next month or so.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, I have folders full of all my chapters. So you have let me see. Yeah, the Lake of Memory, dude. So that white glowing cypress and the golden plate of pet, it's the night side of the magnetotail. It's hard to describe, people, but in the tablets, the cypress is white or luminous, and it has a specific path in the darkness, which is describing the dark side of the magnetosphere, the night side. And that tail, let me see if I can find. So this is what I'm talking about in the magnetosphere. So this is the night side right here. And you see that teardrop shape?
Yeah.
It's the shape of a cypress tree. Sideways shape right there.
Yeah.
Right here. You see how it's a sideways teardrop right here in the
Yeah.
middle? Well, that's a cypress tree shape as well, or a weeping willow tree with its magnetic field. You see these branches coming out? It's like a
Yeah.
weeping willow, all of this, with the magnetic field lines swaying in the solar wind as branches swaying in the wind, right? So this is like a big tree. What you see here is a tree with swaying branches in the wind. And this tree is the tree of knowledge, the tree of life, and it's the tree of the magnetosphere, the tree of light, the glowing cypress tree that you see here. And he's guided right to the night side of the glowing white cypress tree, right? And that's where these plasma rivers, all these specific dynamic regions, are all different streams of plasma and different rivers and mountainous landscapes in here, right? And they talk about guiding the lake of memory to the soul, to the snapback point, right? And in the tablets, the white luminous lake of cypress tree is that distinct teardrop shape of and the luminous glow. It perfectly describes the magnetotail, and just as the tablets describe a glowing tree in the dark halls of Hades, right? The magnetosphere is filled with charged solar particles that are glowing, and when these particles are energized, they create the aurora, literally making this invisible magnetic tree glow with light, right? And the my metaphor of the lake of Mnemosyne, or memory versus the lake of forgetfulness, or Lethe, aligns with the dynamics of the magnetic reconnection, right? So Lethe, the lake of Lethe, the lake of oblivion, or the lake of forgetfulness, they're guided to avoid this lake. This is the lake where their souls will be scattered in the auroras. In my model, in the metaphor that I'm talking about, my decoding of this, the river Lethe represents the plasma sheet boundary. This is the boundary layer in even in the tale of in the Quran, in with Muhammad, when he goes to the night side, he goes on his night journey. Muhammad, he goes to a point where not even the archangel Gabriel can cross. They call it the tree of Lot, the boundary of Lot, the Lot tree. This is the same thing that's described in the Muhammad journey, when Muhammad and the angel Gabriel can't pass this boundary of the Lot tree. This is the same boundary of the Lethe Lake, right? This is where the the plasma sheet boundary is. This is, this is the plasma sheet boundary. This is where particles that are not captured or remembered by the core field are scattered into the atmosphere as the aurora, or lost into the wind of deep space, effectively losing their identity in the cosmic void in the lake of Lethe. And then you have the lake of Mnemosyne, the lake of memory, as the magnetic reconnection event of the soul. Drinking from the lake of memory allows the soul to return to its divine origin, remember its divine essence. This mirrors magnetic reconnection, where field lines that have been stretched out like a slingshot snap back towards its source, right? It's the lake of memory. And the solar boat, right? By merging with these field lines, the light body is guided to merge back with these field lines, acting like a solar boat, the classic Egyptian motif and Orphic motive, right? Where they use the snapback energy to propel back into the sun at nearly the speed of light, right? This is how the light body returns to its lake of memory. It's incredible information, dude. Next level information, right?
It
Only
really
shared here,
is.
right? Typical Skeptic podcast, right? So the river Lethe is the chaotic plasma sheet. You know, people could write a book over what I just freaking laid on your show tonight, dude. Literally, right? People are going to
Yeah.
probably write a book off it, right? So this is where you hear it first, right? So I got the receipts. You know, that
Yeah.
path to magnetic reconnection is the slingshot that flings the soul, the light body back to its origin. It's the instruction manual for the dead into the it's the navigation guide for the plasma body within the solar system's magnetic architecture, right? This is the framework that it transforms the instruction manual for the dead as a navigation guide for the plasma soul, right? And the golden tablets are often even called passports for the dead, the Toten Pass, right? And from sites like Catalia, which I think comes right from the Sanskrit Patala, which is the underworld or the netherworld, and the tablets of Thuri, they are specific ritual instructions for the soul's journey. But it's much more deeper than a primitive worship of death. It's literally the light body instructions for the soul. And the soul must drink from the lake of memory on the right. They literally say avoid the spring on the left because it's marked by a glowing white cypress and it's associated with darkness and oblivion. They want you to instead drink from the lake of memory on the right and preserve your identity, right? And they declare in the tablets, I'm a child of earth and starry heaven, but my race is heavenly. I must return back to the heavenly origins, right? And Lethe is that plasma sheet boundary layer, the same boundary layer that Archangel Gabriel cannot pass or cross in the tales of Muhammad.
Wow. Holy shit, man.
Yeah, dude, I could go, bro. I could go.
This is groundbreaking like information. Yeah, like
For sure.
well, I guess we could finish up here. This was amazing, man. This was really good stuff. Like for real, like I'm excited for your book, man. Oh, do you want to promote your store? Do you want to talk a little bit about like what you're going on and stuff like that?
Yep. So you guys can see right there, give you an incentive to use that coupon code right there. Because on my website right now, I have a 10% off coupon code. But if you use Rob's, you get 12% off instead of the 10% off. So that gives you an incentive to use Rob's. Because I hate when people give out affiliate coupon codes, and then if you go to the guy's website, their coupon code is a lot better than the affiliate ones, and it doesn't give anybody reason to use the affiliate one, right? So I'm giving out an affiliate one that's actually more than the one I have on my website. Gives you guys the ascension to use it. I make everything from custom crystal skulls like this to wire wrapped silver and copper, and I make spiral energy devices made from twisted copper around gemstones to help people get out of the fog. They're EMF protection. I have my heal shields. They're called harmonic evolutionary altruistic light. My heal shield. They all different gemstones that's wrapped in specific copper coils, and that helps people get out of the fog. You can contact me at the mysticalspiralstore.com. You can use Rob's coupon code typical skeptic 12 at checkout, and I give free gifts with every order, and and I do readings as well. So I just did a couple of readings on a few of Rob's fans, and my readings are very unique because I do telepathic connection readings, and I also do automatic writing sketches of the people I do readings on for the readings for my yearly packages. And right now I have a yearly package available for only $399. One reading a month for a full year. I only have 3 more slots available for that because they're getting really booked up. And you can even get 12% off of that if you use Rob's code right now at checkout. So that is amazing.
Well, that's awesome. So it works for the readings too, not just
everything on my website, the readings and all the products.
Wow, that's amazing, guys. You guys should take advantage of that, honestly,
For sure.
And, yeah. And you real quick, do you want to talk a little bit of MMA before you go? Because I think it would be, what did you think of the what did you think? Like, did you have any good impressions from this recent UFC? I was a little bit disappointed, man. Like, I like Volkanovski and stuff, but like, I don't know. Like, I was kind of just like,
I wasn't really excited to see any of the fights on the recent one. The one before it, yeah, the one before it, was awesome. 324 was good.
Yeah,
324 was good. I didn't like 325. I fell asleep for most of it, but yeah. Volk, I would like to see him retire.
Yeah,
right now as champion, to retire on top. Who wants to see him go out like after losing a whole bunch?
Yeah, I agree. I think, hey guys, while I have Ra here, we want to propose something to you guys. Like, what if we did? What if we did like fight companion streams during pay-per-views where we streamed it to Ra's channel and then we streamed it to my channel too, or vice versa, and it were probably both channels, so we could get all our audience involved who's like into MMA like us, and then it wouldn't just be like a fight companion. We could talk about like paranormal stuff. We could talk about like the stuff we could mix in stuff we talked about tonight, or conspiracies with like MMA stuff. You know what I mean? I think it would be like something nobody else is doing. You know what I mean? Because like we kind of have that unique skill set where like we can talk about anything basically, and under the sun, plus conspiracies, plus MMA. So I think a fight companion would be really good. You know, like Sovereign Cosmic Wildman says freestyle battles, and the you see, so she jokes around. Like, that's so funny. Like, I don't think we're gonna do freestyle battles, man. No, but like I think it's a good idea. I think people would show up. What do you think?
She knows I know how to freestyle.
What's that?
She knows I know how to freestyle.
I can bust a freestyle too. He said, Rob, throw on a boom bap beat and have Raw freestyle. We could do that too, yeah. You know, but I definitely want to do these fight companions. Like, you know, like I think they would be fun. You know, and everybody basically just has to have Paramount Plus so you can follow the fights with us, because we're not going to stream the fights. I wouldn't even stream the fights on Rumble because I don't want any problems with Paramount, and I don't want any problems with Rumble. You know, like, even though Rumble probably wouldn't care, but still, I don't want to take that chance. You know what I mean? So it's better just to have the fight companion and have you guys follow along, and we just kind of talk through the fights and stuff like that. But if we make a comment on this video if that's something you'd like to see, you know, so we know, you know what I mean? So we know, we get an idea how many people will show up, you know, even if you're not into MMA, but it sounds like something fun that you would show up for, let us know, because I want to know if we want to know if it's something we should do, you know, like, and I think we should do it. Yeah, look, Ron got his Muay Thai shirt on. How long did you fight Muay Thai for?
I started training when I was 14, because I grew up doing Ishin. First, I started in Ishin Ryu karate when I was like 7, and I got all the way to brown belt. You know, your parents pay for you to friggin' take classes and take the tests, and I was almost at black belt, and then they had a kickboxer that had just like spent time in Thailand come and like train with us, and I realized that like I didn't know shit about fighting. And I was a brown belt, right? But I had some like weapons training. Like, you train some weapons training with Ishin Ryu karate and some stuff like that. So I you know, some of it was good, some of the kicks and stuff. But once I realized that like I didn't really know how to fight, and I was a brown belt, you know, I knew how I wrestled in school, so I knew how to grapple a little bit, but like I didn't know anything about striking, like hand to hand boxing or anything, like really,
like real you didn't know real technique, because like for people that don't know, when you join a traditional martial art, like I took Taekwondo, they teach you a lot of forms. You get some like combat, but like what Ra's talking about is he didn't have any like raw technique like that you can pick up from like, you know, like a freestyle form of combat like Muay Thai or boxing.
Yeah, it wasn't like practical if I was going to get into a real fight.
Yeah,
right? And a lot of it was like, you know, even like when you see like Steven Seagal and people like that, that's really not practical for a real fight. Like what he's doing is like to disarm somebody with a sword, right? Or something. Like a lot of his techniques are for leverage. If someone was hand-to-hand fighting with a sword and they lost their sword, and now he has to try to disarm the guy from the sword with an arm lock and something like that. So like a lot of that's not practical in a real fight. Like you have to literally let the guy here. Let me, like, you ever see like people like Steven Seagal? Like,
I got a serious question. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Rod. I got to ask you this question because this girl just brought this up, and I don't want to lose this. This is important. I think it's about an order you have. She says, she says, Rob, can you please ask him if I can ask one about one more pendant before he ships the order?
What order did she have?
I don't. What order did you have? If you could tell
I might
us,
have already shipped it, I think.
So it's Chaley. Sorry, I was thinking. I knew her name. She's been watching my channel for a long time. Like, you know what I mean?
I
Like,
pretty
I
much
know
shipped all
her.
my orders out except for one.
Oh,
Which one is
so
she? I don't remember
her
a
name is
Shaylee.
Chaley.
I don't remember a Shaylee.
Maybe she. I don't know.
Is that
Maybe
the name that she used on the order was Shaylee?
that's her name. Yeah, for sure. It's Chaley.
Shit.
She's not answering. I don't know what's going on. Like, I think the chat's a little bit behind too. You know. Oh, she says I just got the chevron amethyst and the aquamarine pendant from him.
Oh, you're right. You're right. I didn't see it. It just came in. It just came in before. Yeah, you're right.
Did you use the coupon code, Jamie? Hopefully you used it. I don't know. Or maybe it was too early before that. You know,
dude, she used your coupon code. Woo!
Nice. That's awesome. Hell yeah. Go Jamie.
Coupon code. So we can add something. If you want me to make you an invoice, you can. If not, just because today's Sunday, I won't be shipping it till tomorrow afternoon. Anyway.
Yeah.
So you know.
What do you want to add, Chaley? Do you want to tell them now what you want to add, or what do you want to ask about?
She picked some good orders there. Oh, she's got an Italian name, I think, too. Novella.
Oh yeah, yeah. What do you? I hope she gets this. Like, I mean, I know the chat's behind, but I want to see what she wants to ask you about, or what she wants to add. So, like, you know, like maybe
yeah, we can. I'll throw in a free gifts with her too.
Man, you're really nice. You always give people free gifts. You sent me
every
stuff.
Order. Dude, I guarantee you, there's not one customer out there that can say I never gave them something for free. Every order that comes in, I give them a very special free gift. Every order. Because I like it when I get gifts, and you'll never get that. You could go to places that are. I'm a very small business, right? You go to $1 million businesses, they don't give you free gifts when you go buy something. They never do, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Derek's in the chat busting rhymes. He said, let me see what it showed. He says, these are people. He says, paranormal rhymes got them ghost flipping dimes, Bigfoot dogman lurking in the shadows. That was pretty good, Derek. You know, you got to rhyme the last part though, you know. And then he said, baby, no problem. We go deep, then you decide. I love that. It's a full moon, man. So I mean,
it is a full moon, yo. We should stay live.
Yeah, I'll stay on for a couple more minutes. You know, I'm not in any hurry. You know, like I'm not. Yeah, like. And then Danny said, "I think we should decide before we go." Oh, well, that's funny.
We got the smoky quartz skull here tonight.
That's dope, man. I love that. I wish I had that. I have my miniature one here somewhere. Where I gotta find it.
Look at all the rainbow in it too.
Here's my miniature one, guys. Yeah, and I got this from Ra's store. I bought this. This is yeah. Oh wait, let me see if I can get the rainbow in there. I don't know where it. It's not. Yeah, it's dope,
you got
man.
rainbow in yours. Yeah.
Yeah, I love this little thing. You know,
I sent you a gift of a dragon, a golden hero dragon too, right?
Yeah, I have that here somewhere. I know I have it. It's on my desk somewhere. My desk is such a mess, man. It's like, and I still have this too. I don't have it on a necklace, but I have this. It's I forget what kind of diamond. Yeah. Like I have everything. Yeah, I always
those
keep
are my inner light activators. Here's a Herkimer diamond. This is the inner light activators. This is a Herkimer diamond with the royal cubit copper coil. Right in there.
Wow.
These are my inner light activators. These ones are one of my signature series. A Herkimer diamond is one of my favorite kinds of quartz. They literally sing with energy. Look at that bad boy. Herkimer diamond with the beautiful twist, royal cubit copper twist.
I love that, man. That's
one's
beautiful.
on sale too. I think this one's only for like $60 right now or something like that. And is it hard to wrap
those like that? Is that hard to? I mean, does that hurt your hands after a while, like wrapping all those, or is it?
Yeah, some of them are hard to wrap, especially the heavy gauge. You know, and some of them are really delicate, so it's not easy. Like the bigger things I make, like the really heavy gauge ones, like these ones.
Yeah, that's a she answered, by the way. She said, let me see what she said. She said, this is what her message was.
And I
She says, I
recommend these
love
heal shields. These are the shungite. These are collector's grade shungite.
Oh wow. Those help with EMF too. Shungite helps with EMF, right?
Yeah, and this is collector's grade shungite. I have regular pieces of shungite too if you don't want it in the pendant. And my I have all sorts of clusters in my inventory, and I do custom orders as well. So I have like chunks of kyanite, chunks of quartz clusters, anything people want. I have a huge inventory. What you see on my website is only a small portion of my inventory. Every day I put up new products. I make new products and I put up new stuff. So we have a huge inventory here at the Mystical Spiral store. It's over 10 years to get this inventory. So whatever you guys need, we do our own carvings, we do our own custom orders, and we do our own wire wrappings and our own tensor tools. I just actually shipped out a harmonizer. I don't make many harmonizers anymore because it's a lot of work and they're expensive to make, and they're a high price item. But I just shipped out one not too long, like a week ago. I have a big one made if someone's interested in the big harmonizer. These are
yeah, that's awesome.
This is what a harmonizer is. This is the one that's made. Big old harmonizer. Whoa. I'll show you what it looks like when it's not wrapped up. So this is my extra large harmonizer. And wow. it comes with a crystal skull and like ball. This is a hematite, this ball. So comes with custom crystal balls and crystal skulls for on top. And these are incredible.
That's amazing, man. Shaylee answered you. She says she loves what she bought. She said she just wanted silver instead of gold. If that's okay.
Oh, I'll make it. She want me to make it. You want me to make it the amethyst one that she bought? She wants it silver, or she doesn't want it copper. She did order the silver one, I think. The amethyst. Let me see. Yeah, she ordered the silver amethyst.
Yeah.
Yeah, she ordered the silver amethyst. She wants it silver, right?
Yeah. She wants silver instead of gold. She said, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I got her.
Happy birthday, Derek. Early birthday,
Yeah, happy birthday, bro.
Oh, Derek was saying he was seeing who has a birthday coming up. He was going to buy them something from your store. That's cool. Yeah. That's cool how the community all chips in and helps each other and stuff, man. You guys are awesome.
And whoever buys tonight, I'll send them a free Arkansas quartz copper coil pendant. So that lady just got the one lady who just bought, she gets this.
That's cool. Hell yeah. Now Sovereign Cosmic Wildman's in the chat busting rhymes. He says, I'll put this up. He says, I blast ass quick fast like a bomb blast.
Like a plasma burst from the sun, because that's where I'm coming from.
Dude, yeah, dude, you should do plasma rhymes. That would be sick, man. You know what I mean?
Like a magnetic reconnection event off the sun. I burst
I'm
like
taking rips from the bone, coming at you like an taking rips from the bone. Egyptian, let me see them tits, bitch. I'm retarded, dude. I
bitch. That plasma talk is making me itch. Let me see them tits, bitch.
Oh my god, dude. Oh, I don't know.
You're like
I'm retarded. I'm losing my mind. I think
you're like that guy from what's that guy from the Dirty Dozen? That one fat guy, the fat black one.
Oh, what was his name? I'm trying to think. That was good too. Yeah. Fuck, man. I can't remember. If anybody knows, like, man, that was Oh, you mean I'm D12, like that D12. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. They were good, man, back in the day, Like,
oh my god. Let me see them tits, bitch.
Danny Hawk says "The People of the Sun" is one of her favorite Rage Against the Machine songs. That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. I like their first album though. This is for the people of the sun. Yeah. That's from their second album, Empire.
Yeah. The first, yeah, I don't know which one was better. That was pretty good. Yeah.
The first album is the best. There's no beat. You know, it's usually like that with most bands because they take 10 years to write their first album, and then they're supposed to make another album really fast, so they like throw it together in a year or two. But usually, like that first album of a band, it's like that's a culmination of all their like best shit that they've been working on for years, you know?
Yeah. Because they pick their best stuff because they're trying to get popular, I guess, at that point, right?
That first album is usually like a culmination of many years of playing, you know, and then that first album hits, and then they got to make one really quick afterwards. So it's like they throw it together in a shorter amount of time.
Yeah, I saw Rage. People in the chat were saying they saw Rage Against the Machine. I saw them with Wu-Tang Clan here in Pittsburgh.
Bro,
it was like
I
Rage
saw
Against the
them.
Machine.
Check this shit out. Want to hear how old school this is? I saw them at Lollapalooza with fucking Alice in Chains and Tool and shit, dude.
Wow. Yeah, dude. I always tell people this. I was at the one Lollapalooza in Pittsburgh when someone threw a shotgun bullet on the stage at Courtney Love, and she stopped the middle of the performance, and
Oh my god, dude! I saw Courtney Love at Lollapalooza when she played with Cypress Hill was there that day, and a couple other.
Sonic Youth was probably there because that's when.
Sonic
Youth.
I
used to love Sonic Youth.
I was there, dude. She was wearing a white dress and she jumped into the crowd and had no underwear on it. We were all passing her, dude. I had my hand on her butt, dude.
Wow.
Like people were being rude and like shoving their fingers in her and shit.
Dude. Oh god, that's horrible.
She was still singing and shit. She was like getting pissed though. She was like swinging at people because people were like grabbing her. Dude, I couldn't believe she jumped in the crowd like that. She had a little white skirt on, like a thrift shop skirt, like an old white see-through shirt, and she had no underwear on, no panties on, dude. It was crazy. Yeah,
that's crazy, dude. Like,
yeah, I was at Woodstock too, in the mud with 9
Woodstock '99. You went to Woodstock '99. I remember that.
I was in the mud, bro. With that, I lost both my contacts, one of my shoes, my shirt.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. I couldn't see shit.
Do you remember who was all at Woodstock '99, or do you remember a couple of the bands? I don't.
I remember Green Day, 9 Inch Nails. Man, I don't know. I
would love to see Green Day. I never saw Green Day. Yeah,
they were getting pissed. 9 Inch Nails embraced the mud, dude. That was great. Seeing Trent Reznor in the mud like that was an experience.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. I miss those days, man.
I witnessed when Korn first popped on the East Coast. Like I was the first person in my high school to know who Korn was and Deftones. So we went to go see friggin' House of Pain one night in New York City, and Korn was opening up. This was like in '94, and then the next 2 nights later, they played the Limelight, this Gothic church in New York City that I used to do. Like this girl I used to know used to do coat checking there and shit. I used to hang out with her and shit. But I used to always be in the Limelight when I was younger. I saw all these bands play there, and then we had no idea who Korn were, dude. And like, I watched them pop, dude. It was an experience. You know that first song that they came out with, Blind?
Yeah.
Oh my god, bro! They would start off the concert with this. I didn't even know who they are. All of a sudden, the whole place is dark, and you hear, and then the lights would come on. The lights would come on during that part, and then go back dark. And then you hear, and then all of a sudden he comes out with the dread. Are you ready? And then the whole place fucking erupted, bro. It was crazy.
That's awesome, man.
It was it was like a changing of the guard. Like you saw, like you witnessed something that it was like, and like, because I wasn't prepared for what was about to happen because I didn't know who they were. But a lot of people in the club were there for Korn and knew who they were already. I didn't know. So like people were ready for that "Are you ready?" shit, and I didn't know it was coming. All of a sudden it was "Are you?" and it was nuts. It was insane. Wow. Insane.
Dude, I miss those days. I miss the days of going to concerts and stuff, man. I really do. Like I just I don't know. Yeah. Like I don't know, man. It's just it's I don't think, you know, I don't know. I just really
Yeah.
miss.
Well, I don't miss some parts of it. I mean, of course, we were young, so I had a lot of fun in some of it, but some of it was like, I was glamorizing it at the time, I think, but it was really a fucking dirty lifestyle, you know.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I feel the same way. I just don't
Really
like
was.
this idea of getting older. You know, like I don't feel
It
I
does
don't have
suck to
any
get
grays
older.
yet. You
It
know,
does
like I
suck to
don't.
get older, but you got to remember that you got to use your life experiences and try to transform them into wisdom.
Yeah,
And if you're not learning from your life experiences, then you're not, it's not, they're not correct. Like you're not experiencing life the correct way.
yeah.
So
You're not because you're supposed to evolve with your life experiences, right?
yeah, and you should be learning from life and transforming that knowledge into wisdom you
Yeah,
know
yeah. That's a good point, man. That's a good point. I guess that's why we're here, right?
Yeah, dude. I mean, in my almost 48 years old, I'll be now, and I went through a lot of stuff in my life, bro. When I was a kid, I went through group homes and juvenile detention, and I went through a lot of trauma when I was younger, and I had to take my power back because I realized, for people that don't know, I had a very unique birth. I was born inside in call, and it took me a lot of years to realize that doctors are on the see certain babies that are born this way. This is called being born behind the veil. I talked about it on my interview when I was on Dr. Michael Sala a couple of weeks ago. Um, in the past, midwives would give shaman coveted babies born this way. So in the past, midwives would let shaman know that what babies were born in call, and shaman would raise these babies as seers and healers. Nowadays, doctors are on the payroll, and they're giving out this information of babies being born this way to covert agencies and all types of military intelligence and things like that. So when a baby's born, no matter what baby, no matter if you're born in call or what, every baby that's born in a hospital is given a code at birth. This code has specific instructions about the baby, blood type, genetics, etc., etc. This information is sold to military organizations, covert programs, what have you. And that information that's sold out, that code is used as a sigil. And certain agencies will use this throughout the year during star magic, during the what we call the ember days. These are the equinoxes and solstices when the veil is thin. And they use an ancient form of star magic, goes back to ancient Persia and beyond, where they use the four royal stars, and this is on equinoxes and solstices, those 4 times of the years. And you use the Watcher of the North, the South, the East, and the West. There's Regulus, Fomalhaut, Antares. These are all these different the four royal stars, and these open up the 4 quarters of the ritual circle. And it's the Watcher of the East, the Watcher of the West, the Watcher of the North, and the Watcher of the South. And they will open up these doorways and use that code of the child to coast his life or her life in a certain direction. And I realized that my life was being coasted in a certain direction as I was a teenager and in my early 20s, and I had to take my power back because I realized there were certain things that I was being coerced down a certain path.
Wow. Yeah. Dude, that's insane. That's deep information. Yeah, people in the chat are saying there's a whole thing. It's like called birth certificate scam. You know.
Yeah, yeah, and it goes much deeper than people realize, and it's used to coerce and guide a person's life in a certain direction, right? And it's insidious. It's
Yeah.
insidious, and it's incredible the way things happen. And that's how I got into developing the products that I make, because it's not just a business for me. I would be doing it for free anyway. It's we need tools to form a boundary around our energetic bodies and our physical bodies. We're in a war, an unseen war of spirits and unseen energies and frequencies that are constantly bombarding our energetic bodies and our physical bodies. And when you're in a war, you need certain tools in the war to help you mind, body, and soul. And that's where I come in. That's why I have a specific design. You have to make a smooth, if you're doing wire wrapping, if you're making a whole bunch of coils, I mean, some of them, they do it for the art of it and it looks good, but it's a chaotic piece. If you're doing a wire wrapping, you want a coil that's going to be very smooth to carry the energy to the point of the stone and out. You do not want a whole bunch of coils clashing against each other, because it's chaotic. You want a nice smooth coil going down the stone and carrying out, whether it's a twisted coil or not. You want a very nice smooth coil. So I've been doing it for decades, right? I would make it a lot more complicated if I was doing it just for the jewelry aspect of it. I do it for a specific reason, because you're squeezing the piezoelectric material, the quartz or what have you. You're squeezing it to essentially opening up the light of the stone. When you squeeze piezoelectric material, compress it, squeeze it, rub it together, it opens up the light of the stone. It opens up cold light, right? And it's the inner light activator. So that's why I do what I do, and it helps people get out of the fog as well.
Hell yeah, man! Hell yeah! It's awesome, man. Like, yeah, like this dude. This is like, And guys, remember, use Ra's code.
Hell yeah! We already got one person used it tonight, so everybody's gonna get a free pendant that uses it tonight. You have till midnight to get free pendants. I'll give free gifts with everybody, but everybody that orders until midnight will get an extra free pendant with their order.
That's awesome. Yeah, good guys. And dude, this was amazing. And is there anything else you want to promote or you want to share before we go and stuff? And yeah.
I have a Substack. You can find me on Substack, Ra Castaldo. I also have a Patreon. You can join for $2 a month, and I share exclusive access into knowledge from my book, personal experiences, book recommendations, all that. $2 a month for you could join as low as $2 a month. That's patreon.com/themysticalspiral. You can find me at Substack just by my name, Ra Castaldo. I also have a secondary YouTube channel. My first YouTube channel is Exploring the Ka. I almost got 11,000 subscribers. So subscribe, guys. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I also have a secondary YouTube channel, The Mystical Spiral, Copper and Gemstones. And that's pretty much it. My website is themysticalspiralstore.com. I have a lot of free information on the website as well. If you go in the menu, it's not just a store. If you go in the menu, there's sub-menus as well in the menu. There's a whole bunch of free information on there. Shout out to my wife, Magic Micah, because she did a lot of work for me on my website. And she also has a Substack you guys should check out. She makes her own art on there and a lot of cool stuff that she does on there. So check it out.
Hell yeah, I like her. I like her Substack too. It's really good. She always shares some interesting stuff. Yeah,
dude. I've known her since I'm in 6th grade, bro. She's not only a great woman, but she's a great mother, and she's the most beautiful woman I know.
Dude, that's awesome. That's so awesome that you guys have known each other for so long. You guys are soulmates for real.
For real. We like, I used to flirt with her in like 7th grade class, and then we found each other again later in life and had a child. It's a really incredible story.
Dude, that's amazing, man. Hell yeah. Like, all right, guys. Well, we'll check you guys out. I have Joseph Farrell tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern. That should be a good show. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. And have a good night, everybody.
Spiral out.
All right. See you guys. Good night.